Hi, Peter Charles here, Hooked to Life Fly Fishing. And today we're going to tie a fairly large fly. It's called the Thompson River. It was originated in the 1960s for the Thompson River in British Columbia. It could be tied with bucktail, but the pattern I have calls for this kind of craft fur type of material. It's not the type of stuff I normally use, but I thought, you know what? Use it, put it on this fly, and I can demonstrate a technique for using it as well. So get two birds with one stone. So let's get into the pattern and see the materials. Okay, this pattern calls for a fairly large hook, so I'm using this deep water salmon single in a size 1/0. My thread is black Veevus 8/0. The body is copper tinsel. In this case it's a mylar, a copper blue. We'll be using the copper side. The tail and the hackle are fluorescent red and fluorescent orange. And the wing material is brown and orange. So let's get started. Since we have a mylar body on this, we want to be neat with the our thread. Okay, stop just short of the hook point. I'm already taking off some barbs here. I've got some orange and some red. Just try to roll them together, mix them up as best you can, align the tips. There we go. Now trim off the excess. Now for our mylar. This is copper blue mylar, so we're going to tie it blue side up. Keep hold of your tail to keep it on top. Wrap back. And then wrap forward. Okay, we wrap the mylar. Firm wrap at the back. Make sure you don't move your tail. Now come forward in touching turns. Pull tight around the return. Might have to jiggle it a little bit to avoid a lot of black showing. Okay. Keep the mylar underneath. Okay, wrap back. Now you're putting on 2 hackles and 2 pieces of wing material, so make sure you're leaving enough room to do that. So what I'm going to do is I've prepared both a red and orange hackle. Try in the red, a couple of wraps to hold the red, and a couple of wraps to hold the orange. Line them up and wrap forward nice and firmly so they don't move. Now we're going to wrap these hackles together. So it pays to have really good hackle pliers so you can get a good grip on them. You see, I sized these up so they're both the same size. And I made sure also that I chose the quills well, so I didn't have to worry about a really stiff quill. One quill being, very thin, and the next one being very stiff. That would be difficult to manage. And you just bring them one in front of the other, so you're always advancing your turns. Okay, there we go. Trap the quills underneath. Wrap the ends down and bring your thread to the rear for the wings. Now, don't get gung-ho on the amount of material you're going to use because you are tying in 2 clumps. So keep this relatively thin. Now what I'm doing is I'm stroking this material and trying to taper it off. You've got 2 choices. You can taper using a pair of scissors, or you can do what I'm doing there and just trying to get a taper by working the thread, and I take out any real ugly looking strays. There we go. Now this wing goes about the length of the tail. I'm going to wrap it forward. Wrap the end down, bring your thread back, and give it a loose wrap at the back, or 1 or 2 loose wraps just to make it lay down. Now for the brown, same idea. I'm going to stroke it to give it a little bit of a taper. There we go. Okay, position it. Make sure it's even. Now I'm going to trim this after just a couple of wraps. It enables me to get more of a taper on the head. If I were not to do that, I would end up with a big lump at the front. So this way I can keep a relatively nice looking tapered head. Now I put some soft wraps at the back. Make those wings stay down. I'd never like my wings poking straight up in the air. Now to whip finish. Now for some head cement. Okay, there's our Thompson River. Quite an attractive pattern. If you've never wound 2 different colors of hackle at the same time, make sure you use a lot less barbs because you're doing 2. Choose them so the quill diameters are about the same, and you want, depending on the pattern, you want the barb lengths to be about the same as well, which is what I've done here. And as you can see, it works out quite well. So have a try at the Thompson River. I think it'll be a great looking fly, and I think it'll be quite effective. Cheers.